Hello boys and girls, welcome to my channel. I'm Joe PD, and for today what we have here is F1 2016. So F1 2016 was developed by the Codemasters and they are using their Ego engine. So Codemasters have been the developer behind Dirt series, Grid series, and lately the F1 series, and even yes, the other video from Micro Machines that it was a big disappointment. Okay, so for the settings I will be using 1080p, anti-aliasing set to TAA, 4 times anisotropic filtering, and on the advanced settings I will be pretty much using a median settings, but just with small changes. I enabled ambient occlusion and I erased the weather effects to the eye settings. Although I didn't benchmark these settings without recording. You can find the benchmarked settings on the description of the video. I tested the low, median, high and ultra. Okay, I just enabled the ambient occlusion because PS4 have ambient occlusion, and so I didn't want it to be a little bit worse than PS4. And same can be said about the weather effects, because the weather effects when it rains, there are puddles on the car. On the consoles, but if the weather effects are set to the median on the PC, there are no puddles on the car, and so I decided to no. I want puddles on the car just like PS4, and so for that I need to raise the weather effects to the eye settings. Apart from that, there are no changes. I'm going to play 2 tracks in here. I'm going to play Monaco, as you can see. I'm going just to allow some racers to overtake me. Okay, there you go. And I wanted to target 60 FPS for this game because it makes total sense. This is a very fast gameplay of the game. PS4 and Xbox One run this game at 60 FPS with a lot of drops from the 60s. My objective here was to try to play the game at all the time at 60s, although AMD Radeon Relive that I'm using to record is not making it easier because it's consuming a lot of frames. Although if you want to check the frame rate without recording, it's all on the description of the video or by the end of it. So like I was telling you, I'm going to test the game on Monaco, and I'm also going to test the game in Silverstone with heavy rain. Okay, just to see how it runs. So I'm not a very good player of F1, so let me just warn you about that. I don't even know the rules. No taking easy. Okay, so with that, I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Oh shit, and I do hope to see you soon. Goodbye.
This is a fantastic reward.
And as the and now let's take a look at the... With that, then...
Okay, you need to give that position back. That was an illegal overtake. final lap of the race. Sorry about that, I guess they can't all go to plan. Bring her in, we'll go over what happened in the debrief.
Hello boys and girls, welcome to the performance section of the video. So on the Monaco track, the ultra settings, the average was quite bad. We can see that the yellow graph is really bad comparing to the other settings, so the ultra high settings, just ignore it for this system, because it isn't possible to play like this. Unless you want to play lower than 30 FPS, there is no reason for that. The difference in graphics isn't that big, so I don't recommend it to go to the Ultra. Just forget that Ultra exists in this game if you have this system, okay? As for the eye settings, it's quite acceptable. You can see that the frame rate hovers between the 50s and the 60s. It's pretty much like a PS4. Regarding the performance, maybe even graphics might be more comparable with PS4 than the median settings, but I do prefer the median settings, because with the median settings the frame rate was averaging 74 and there was no drops from the 60s. The same can be said about the low settings, but the low settings was pretty much a big bottleneck going on. As for the Silverstone with the heavy rain, it gets a little bit more demanding. Except for the Ultra Eye, which delivers a little bit better performance, but still unacceptable. The eye settings, I got an average of 65. You can see that's it's pretty much the same thing between the 50s and the 60s. There is a time there where it gets to 70 for some reason. The median settings, what I got was pretty much an experience above the 60s, but there was a small drop there from 59, 58. But nothing too special. The median settings was incredible fine, and the low settings was again very similar in the minimums to the median settings. This was because of bottleneck, okay? This game loves CPUs, so if we have something better than the Phenom II, I'm pretty sure that the low settings, for example, or even a little bit the median settings, might provide a better experience than my Phenom II over here. Although for the HD 7850 to maintain the 60s, maybe the median settings is the best way to go. So as you can see, overall of the two tracks, the median settings only 1% of the time had dropped from the 60 FPS. The low settings never dropped. The high settings dropped by 30%. Okay, and if you want to target 30 FPS for this game, which I don't recommend, the high, the median or the low settings are enough. Okay, the ultra high, just again forget that it exists. So regarding other stuff, the game used 2 GB of VRAM for the median settings. The RAM usage was around 4.6. The CPU usage was quite big. In fact, I was surprised. It is around 70 to 90%. So the CPU usage was very high, so this game really loves CPU. And well, the GPU usage was like that, okay? So that's all that I want to talk about F1 2016. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to support the channel, you can be my patron, you can donate via PayPal, or if you buy games on Kinguin, please use the link that I have on the description, because it will provide me some cuts of what you pay to me. You are not going to pay more for the games, you are going to pay the exact same thing, but I do receive some share from your buys in order to improve the channel. So if you care about the channel, just please support me in some way. If you can't, no problem, I won't be mad with you, okay? Guys, thank you a lot for watching, and I do hope to see you soon. Goodbye.